In my last video, I undoubtedly ruffled a few feathers with my whole content is worthless rant. If you're one of the people who actually watched it end to end, you'll know that I'm not saying that content is not worth making. In fact, it can be a really effective means to an end if done right. But if you didn't watch it and couldn't be bothered to watch it through, I'll save you the time and give you the punchline. Content is not where the value lies. The content is merely a means to an end. The value is in the audience. But it's not just in the audience as in, I reached X number of people with this message. For anyone who's followed me for any amount of time knows, I think attention in and of itself is also useless. So today, I'm going to talk about what has the ultimate value. Not content, not attention, not even engagement. The real value lies in...
Now I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, you think I'm going to give it away that easy? My name is Tara, and this is Truly Strategic. So, content has no value. The value is in the audience. But it's not just audience that's valuable. There are plenty of examples of publicity stunts and big media splashes that made a lot of noise and got a lot of attention that didn't really end in great results.
That went well.
And anyone with big ad budgets can get attention, viral videos, or as they call it in advertising and PR circles, impressions and reach. Now these are generally bogus metrics and don't mean much. So agencies and brand teams will often laud the value of awareness building, an equally vague and difficult to measure ROI. Now I'm not saying awareness building is completely useless, but as soon as the campaign budget evaporates, so does the audience. So there's some value in attention, but attention in and of itself is much like content.
They're meaningless.
Which brings me to engagement. Now, everybody loves engagement, right? Engagement is also lauded as this desirable metric. Now, people aren't just potentially viewing, reading, or hearing your content, they're also taking some sort of action on it. Engagement is measured in any number of ways, from expanding a post, to read more, to liking, clicking, commenting, or sharing.
Click it, click it, click it, click it.
If they're engaging, this means that they're real people who are interested in your content or message, right?
Wrong, 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 wrong.
Well, not exactly. You see, there's mounting evidence that most of this engagement is, well, BS. On December 26, 2018, New York Magazine did an in-depth report about the insane level of fraud that goes on with digital advertising, from programmatic to social and beyond. According to this article, Facebook alone has inflated numbers by up to 900%, and in general, a conservative estimate of 40% of web traffic and 50% of YouTube views are fake. I know from my own investigations that the numbers on click-throughs and leads generated on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, and beyond are incredibly suspicious and can be traced back to click farms abroad.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Yeah, engagement, I can't verify the value of that either, especially when it doesn't translate into anything real. And by real, I mean a real person doing something real that generates real revenue for the business. So taking stock, once again, content has no value, attention has no value, and engagement has no value. Jeez, then what does have value?
I'm sick of waiting.
Simple. Relationships have value. Oh, let me repeat that again. Relationships have value. Now I can almost hear you rolling your eyes through the screen, but frankly, it's the only thing that you can verify and connect directly back to your bottom line.
Relationships? We don't need no stinking relationships.
Relationships, just for definition, include repeated and sustained attention, meaning without being paid to do so, people come back time and time again. Each time they come back, you have another opportunity to sell, upsell, or just sustain the relationship. They also include loyalty. When people feel an affinity towards you and your brand and your product, they are less likely to be swayed away by the competition, reducing attrition and creating more opportunities again to upsell. And number 3, word of mouth. And this should be the ultimate goal of any of your marketing efforts because it means that every dollar you spend is multiplied. If you spend $1 to get the attention of someone who moves on, you've spent that dollar. But if you spend $1 to get the attention of someone who buys something for $10, you make $9. And if you spend $1 to get the attention of someone who buys something for $10 and then tell someone else who spends $10, we'll do the math. That's right, that's a good dollar to spend.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching.
So then, how do you create relationships rather than just attention or engagement? Well, that's an enormously complicated and involved answer, but if you want the shortcut version, which most people do, here it is. Stop spending money on trying to get people's attention. Stop with the vanity metrics, like impressions and reach, with trying to get billions and millions of whatever, and think quality, not quantity.
You trust quality, but you know, not quantity.
And by the way, most businesses do not need 1 million impressions. They need 100, 1,000, or maybe even 10,000 relationships. Attention is worthless. Relationships are worth everything. That actually brings me to a whole other subject that I've been wanting to rant about lately, and that's about paying people to try to spread the word for you and get attention, like getting them to reach their audiences, investing more in their audiences. I think that's where I'm going to go next. Influencers have no value. If you're interested in getting that video when it comes out, subscribe and follow along. My name is Tara, and this has been Truly Strategic.